This podcast is brought to you by Balancing Act. Teach, coach, mentor, inspire. A collection of candid observations on the challenges facing business leaders today. Balancing Act is authored by Dr. Andrew Temte and is available today on Amazon and other fine bookstores. On this episode, we talked with director and faculty member Jacob Hundt of Thoreau College, located in Viroqua, Wisconsin. We learn about Jacob's background, the unique programming at Thoreau College, how the Driftless Folk School fits in, and where people can find out more. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
So I am a Lacrosse local. I was born in Lacrosse. I grew up on a dairy farm near Coon Valley. My name is Jacob Hundt, by the way. I missed that one. I grew up on a dairy farm. My family has been in the area for generations. Education has been a big part of my life. When I was a kid, my family got involved with the Pleasant Ridge Waldorf School in Viroqua. And Viroqua has a really an active alternative education scene for all ages. And that's, it's part of what's so exciting about this project. There's a lot of people thinking about education for kids, for teenagers, for young adults, and for adults of all ages. I've been a teacher, a high school teacher at the Youth Initiative High School, which is the Waldorf High School in Viroqua, for about 16 years now. I've been involved with the founding of the Driftless Folk School about 15 years ago, and then Thoreau College for the last 5 or 6 years.
Basically, it's just kind of your past kind of led you to the Thoreau College, but what was like the impetus for it? So I guess not necessarily untraditional schooling, but just that sort of vein of teaching?
Yeah, so I've been, I guess, two important pieces to mention. One is after high school, when I was involved with the starting of the Youth Initiative High School as a student. So the starting of schools, thinking about education is something that's been an important part of my life. I went off to college at a place called Deep Springs College, which is located in the desert just north of Death Valley, right on the border between California and Nevada. And Deep Springs has been around for over 100 years, and it has about 25 or 30 students. So it's a micro college. Students, they do a very kind of rigorous academic program, as well as working on the ranch, producing a lot of the food that's grown there, and helping to govern the college, running the admissions process and the hiring processes, serving on the board, things like that. So it's a model of a really holistic, multifaceted education for young adults, for college-age students there. So that's a really important part of our inspiration. The other thing for me was, for the last 15, 16 years, I've been working as a high school teacher and as a college counselor at the high school here in Viroqua. And I've really found there's a lot of variety and options in higher education, but in a lot of ways, they're harder and harder for students to find and access financially. And I just think I found myself wishing that there were a few more options like Deep Springs with that kind of variety and size for my students to recommend to them. And so what we found in the last 3 or 4 years of running programs for Thoreau College is that there are students all over the world and all over the country who are seeking out smaller options for higher education and options that involve hands-on, practical learning, wilderness learning, and community life.
You kind of reference a few things that makes it different from other schools. Looking on your website, you still have the traditional residencies, fellowships. You have something on here called Metamorphosis Year. Can you kind of take us through the process of how someone would come to school there from beginning to end, or how it all works?
Yeah. So first of all, Thoreau College is a young project. These are things that are in development. We just started prototyping them, or we've run them a couple times. But I could say our core program, probably the place that most people might begin, is what we call the Metamorphosis Year. This is a year-long, full-time, in-person program, really targeted towards 18 to 25-year-olds. Our range is just maybe a little bit older than a traditional college student, although we do have students coming right out of high school as well. And it's a program that includes an academic component, ecological philosophy, creative writing, local kind of ecological science, as well as labor. So we have a small farm and a greenhouse business that we run. We prepare food for the community in the kitchen. We maintain our buildings here in Viroqua. So labor is a part of the curriculum. There's a governance or community component where students are involved with decision-making and admissions and promotional activity for the college and financial planning, things like that. And in addition, we have a regular component of wilderness expeditions, so nature immersions, whether week-long kind of hiking or canoeing expeditions throughout the year, and also a series of between 12 to 24 to 48 hour solos in forests, kind of in outdoor settings. And finally, there's a really strong arts component as well. Creative writing, singing, landscape painting, folk arts like spoon carving and basketry, those are all important parts of the curriculum. So it's a really broad curriculum. There's something there that everyone will find challenging. It really kind of exercises all parts of what it means to be a human being. So that's a year-long program, and it moves towards kind of a culmination in the spring trimester, kind of March through June, in some form of internship within the community. In addition to the farm and the greenhouse and the kitchens within Thoreau College, we also have partnerships with several local schools and farms and food businesses, which makes Viroqua and Vernon County and Driftless area a really exciting place to have a project like this. And so we should mention that a very distinctive part of this is the size. The maximum number of students doing this is 12. Right. And so that's kind of the target, and we're not like seeking to grow beyond that really in that core program. So in addition, we have a couple of other programs. This year, we're running a summer program that might be of special interest to people in the area. We call it the Thoreau College Summer Walkabout. It includes a week-long hiking and canoeing expedition looking at local history and ecology. It includes a week of sort of mini internships at local farms. And then there's a 4-day-long permaculture design workshop that is being offered in conjunction with the Driftless Folk School.
So speaking of the Driftless Folk School, I'm just looking at classes on there that are right now. You have everything from dairy, fermentation, off-grid solar with batteries, home cheese making 101. So how does that fit into with the college?
Yeah, so first of all, the Driftless Folk School and Thoreau College are the same nonprofit. We're linked organizations. And the Folk School has been offering like 1 or 2 day classes in folk arts and homesteading skills and home kitchen skills for over 15 years now. And they're open to people of all ages. Mostly these are adults, and people travel in from all over the region and locally to do these classes. So a lot of the things taught in the folk school classes are also part of the curriculum of Thoreau College. And also the actual folk school classes, which generally happen on the weekends, are open to the college students. So that can be integrated on an elective basis into their program.
So general public can actually just attend these courses at Driftless Folk School. The college students do as well.
Yeah, so those are, just driftlessfolkschool.org, and you can sign up today. I can tell you the classes for this summer are filling up very quickly. There's a lot of interest in feeding yourself and growing your own food and building things this year.
So if people are interested in the college, they just go through the traditional, you said there's only 12 students, they just go through the traditional application process, just go directly to the website?
Yeah, go to the website. That's thoreaucollege.org, and that's THOREAU, after Henry David Thoreau, the American transcendentalist and nature writer. So yeah, the application process is in a couple of phases. There's a couple of short essays just about background in the first phase, and then there's a second phase, which is a bit more there's a couple of creative writing prompts. There's an opportunity to talk about your relationship to nature, or to describe a new experience of some kind, talk about an experience of community or conflict. And then there's an interview with our team, which includes the students, 1 or 2 students and a couple of faculty members. We don't ask for ACT scores or anything like that. There is some writing and talking, and we just need to know that people understand what we're doing, which is kind of unusual, and are ready, I think, especially to be a part of a small community where really people have to rely on each other and work together.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at this a little bit more, just the culture of the college, from the information on food and housing, living directly in Viroqua, Wisconsin, being involved in the local organic farming, just kind of digging into the rural town community. It seems like something that definitely has that sort of all-encompassing approach.
One of the fun things is that we've had students from all over the country and all over the world, as well as local students. And I think really an ideal student cohort has some students from Western Wisconsin, as well as people from around the country. So we had people from LA and from Texas and from the East Coast, and as well as students from Westby and Viroqua and La Crosse in our recent pools.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.